Okay guys, look, I know there aren't a lot of people that like sedans these days, and it's because somehow, I don't know, automobile marketing experts have found a way to get you to think that the crossover SUV is the best vehicle you can buy. Yeah, if you watch this channel, you know I am definitely not a believer in that, because my entire life I've bought sedans, I've been happy with sedans, and I don't need any of those crossovers. In fact, I really don't like them. Have I driven them? Yes, in fact, I've featured many videos on this channel showcasing me driving crossovers and big trucks, and I don't like it! So now that I'm hearing news about the Hyundai Ioniq 6 getting a refresh, it's not officially available for purchase yet, but it still excites me a lot. So let's cue the intro. So Hyundai's been in the process of refreshing a lot of the E-GMP lineup as of late. Like towards the beginning of this year, they had refreshed the Hyundai Ioniq 5. The Kia EV6 came out just a tad bit later, and I think it's because they ran into some slight engineering complication in regards to moving the charge port. Well, they got over that, and the best thing about those refresh products, despite that, again, I'm not a fan of crossovers and SUVs, so the only thing about those products that actually got me excited about them was the fact that they actually got NACS ports put on them. So yeah, that means if you walk into your Hyundai and Kia dealer today, you can buy an Ioniq 5 or an EV6 with a native NACS port. So that way you can use quite literally the superior charging standard here in North America. They also did a few other updates, like they actually increased the battery size options available, and I believe they managed to get it to charge faster. Not in terms of a charging curve. I think the curve is still pretty much the same, but just a new higher peak speed, I guess. It's not like earth-shattering or groundbreaking, but they made a couple updates to the pack to be able to charge slightly faster and to help it just a little more when it comes to charging on the supercharger network, because, well, E-GMP is an 800 volt architecture, which is not very compatible with the supercharger network as of current. And in the past, if you had a previous generation E-GMP vehicle, they didn't necessarily charge that great. I mean, it's better than some vehicles like the Lucid Air, for example. The Lucid Air was basically capped at 50 kilowatts. On the E-GMP cars, you could usually get around 120-ish kilowatts, somewhere in there. But it still doesn't even compare to the true charging capabilities that the E-GMP platform can do. And even though, yes, technically when it shows up to a supercharger, because again, E-GMP is still 800 volt architecture, refresh or not, yeah, it's still not compatible. At least Hyundai made some changes with the battery pack configuration, and I don't know if they actually messed with the inverter to help it charge just a little better. It's only marginal. They increased it from like 110 to like 130-ish kilowatts, which, yeah, it's a 20 kilowatt difference, but hey, when you're charging that slow compared to where you're normally charging at on an EA station, assuming that it works, yeah, I'd say that benefit is noticeable and very much appreciated, especially considering that these vehicles have native NACS ports on them, which means you are very, very likely to start charging at superchargers instead of EA stations now, because really, do you really want to deal with adapters? I don't. So yeah, these are some great updates, but my issue was the vehicles that they were updating as of late, like the Ioniq 5 and the EV6, I don't care about them. It's the Ioniq 6, the sedan, that I actually care about. And finally, it seems like they're actually going to kind of redesign it, not by much though. It's really more of a facelift refresh, but I mean, they are changing the powertrain. I don't really know what constitutes a redesign or a refresh or a facelift, or it's just like, what's the difference? Seriously, can someone tell me the difference between those three words? Because they all kind of mean the same thing to me. That and automakers aren't consistent when it comes to how they use them. But either way, the Ioniq 6 is getting a refresh and a facelift, and it's kind of fixing a thing that, let's just say, a lot of people were not happy about. It's styling design. People already are not a fan of sedans thanks to very clever marketers, and certainly the Ioniq 6 was not helping people actually want a sedan anymore. Now, personally, and this is just me, I actually really liked the original design of the Ioniq 6. I really did like the Ioniq 6 from the get-go. And it wasn't just because I love sedans. I truly did like the styling. It was unique, it was interesting, and in a world where a lot of cars tend to look the same these days, it's kind of nice to see something just slightly different for a change. So yeah, I really did not hate the design of the pre-refresh Ioniq 6, but most people are not like me. Most people did really dislike it. I can see why. The dual spoiler ducktail thing they had going on the back was a bit of an odd design choice by Hyundai, and yeah, not a lot of people liked it, and you know what? Design is subjective in terms of whether you like it or not. But for this facelift, they are doing away with the ducktail spoiler, and they are kind of cleaning it up and actually making it a lot more stylish. So I really didn't have that many complaints with the pre-refresh Ioniq 6, but considering you got a massive improvement in the styling department, I mean, I guess it's an even bigger win for me at least. But styling aside, yes, Hyundai is fixing it. You don't have to worry about, oh, that's a weird, ugly car. They're fixing the styling. They're also bringing the many other updates that E-GMP got to the car, such as a bigger battery pack. Are you going to complain about a bigger battery pack? I'm not. And then obviously the biggest thing that I care about, and was the ultimate reason why I didn't want to consider the Hyundai Ioniq 6 over the Tesla Model 3, this guy. Now, while it's not necessarily confirmed via Hyundai, I'm willing to bet that they're probably going to put this on, considering that the Ioniq 5 is a vehicle that they make that you can already buy today with NACS. They are getting ready to launch the Ioniq 9, which will never have a CCS port, at least here in North America. Yes, Ioniq 9 is shipping with NACS from the get-go. It's never getting a CCS version here in the US. It will get CCS in South Korea. That's South Korea's problem. Yeah, I'm willing to bet that after the Ioniq 5 refresh and the Ioniq 9 coming, both having NACS, I think it's safe to say that the Ioniq... Why can't I English? I think it's safe to say that the Ioniq... I think it's safe to say that the Hyundai Ioniq 6, why is that so hard to say, is also going to get a NACS port, which is amazing. And while yes, in the short term, it will be a slight hindrance because, well, there aren't that many NACS stations that actually support 800 volt vehicles, because yeah, Tesla superchargers today are still, unfortunately, capped at 500 volts, which is not enough for these E-GMP vehicles, along with other high voltage vehicles. But as Iona is ramping up production, and as EA is also in the process of putting NACS on their chargers, I reported that in my last video if you want to check that out. And then at some point by the end of this year, supposedly is what the rumors are saying, Tesla is going to start actually putting in V4 cabinets. And the rumor that I've heard is that the V3 Plus stations, or the version 3.5 stations, depending on what you want to call it, the rumors that I'm hearing are suggesting that those sites with the version 4 stalls, the dispensers, but are still using version 3 cabinets, I hear that they're actually going to replace those cabinets with actual version 4 cabinets, hopefully to remove any confusion. That's the rumor that I'm hearing. Is it true? I don't know. Is it false? I don't know. I'm just hearing rumors that Tesla is potentially going to replace the V3 cabinets at those V3 Plus sites, the ones with the V4 dispensers. And then also once V4 cabinets are in full swing, then yeah, they're probably going to completely ditch building version 3 superchargers altogether and go all in on V4 production, because seriously, we need 1,000 volt capable superchargers. So yeah, having a NACS port on your car might be a slight inconvenience considering the landscape of the charging infrastructure today, but this year, 2025, we have already begun adapting these chargers. Iona is coming online and they have NACS available. EA is in the process of adding NACS cables to their chargers. ChargePoint is already selling NACS cables on their chargers. They started doing that last year, actually. And so, yeah, we got NACS actually coming to third-party chargers that are not Tesla superchargers, which is a good thing. So give it a little bit of time and you probably won't even need an adapter to charge the refreshed E-GMP vehicles, which is a great sign. And now this puts me in a predicament. Do I go Tesla Model 3 or do I go Hyundai Ioniq 6? Because not gonna lie, guys, if I had to choose between two electric vehicles to buy right now, it would either be the Tesla Model 3 long range or the Hyundai Ioniq 6. My biggest reason for not considering the Ioniq 6 at all was, I mean, I love the car. I really did. I could not justify buying any car with CCS. I can't. But now that it has NACS, well, it doesn't yet, but well, supposedly now that it's going to get refreshed to have NACS, that brings another competitive option to the table. That actually has me pondering, do I go Tesla Model 3 or do I go Hyundai Ioniq 6? The Tesla Model 3 is going to have better software, which is something that I care about, but the Ioniq 6 6 is going to have faster charging and because it has a faster charging curve. That's an interesting predicament that I guess some more people who love sedans are in right now. Good problem to have. Competition is finally spicing up now that we can actually buy vehicles that natively use the superior charging standard. So, what are your thoughts on this refreshed Ioniq 6? Feel free to let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below. Thank you for watching. Do me a favor and interact with stuff below. My name is DeWolf, Random Alpha, signing out.